Earlier this year, Will and I were talking about Battlefield and Call of Duty as a franchise, but both these franchises now have a new shooter on the block. So we're going to be talking about what makes them different, what makes them appealing, what kind of experience they're going to give. Now, I know you've been playing quite a bit of Call of Duty over the past few weeks.
I have. I've always been more of a Call of Duty guy. And Black Ops 4 does feel, for me, a little bit like a return to form in terms of the multiplayer especially. In terms of like core Call of Duty gameplay and how you could compare that to Battlefield, I guess. Call of Duty feels more intense, smaller maps, fewer people. It's very like twitchy, very quick. And I got to admit, I have a hard time keeping up these days. I definitely
getting on, mate.
Yeah, I feel like an old man playing Call of Duty now. And sometimes with some of the score streaks, which are ridiculous, like drones just come out and start murdering you. I'm like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. But I guess that's always been, you know, I guess Mario Kart's blue shell to Call of Duty's first-person shooters.
You get the blue shell for when you're bad, but a negative feedback loop is that's what Mario Kart has. It has a negative feedback loop, and Call of Duty has a positive feedback loop. The better you do, the better you do.
Yeah. It's once you're on a roll, you really are on a roll.
UAV standing by. Establishing UAV overhead.
But I really like what they're doing with some of the specialists.
Right.
So they've sort of taken elements from hero shooters and tried to apply that to a Call of Duty game. So when you start around, you pick your specialist, which is essentially a character who has special abilities. It might be a dart that you fire and it has a sensor on it, so it tells you where enemies are. It might be a special weapon. It might be a dog that you can set off after people. So that does bring a new flavour to Call of Duty. And I think that keeps it fresh, because if it didn't have these new elements that have obviously been inspired by other games, it might just feel like same old Call of Duty. That feels very, very different to Battlefield, which you've been playing a bunch of, and I think you're more of a Battlefield player anyway.
Yeah, I've always been leaning towards the Battlefield camp. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty back in the day, but similarly, my time with Black Ops 4, I did feel a little bit like an old man. But the way that each of them play, considering they've always been put head to head, I think this time, these two games are so polar. Like playing Call of Duty, is people dolphin diving and jumping around corners and right in your face.
Yeah.
As Battlefield's a little slower, a little more strategic, a little more thoughtful, and that's what I've wanted. But then saying that, it's got a variety in the gameplay just within, like if you do a grand operations, day one might be long open stretches to fight over, and then day two you get in like really intense urban combat. So you've got that variety there. But the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing that's sold Battlefield 5 for me this year is the emphasis on squad play. That's always been what sold Battlefield for me. The feeling that you and 3 or 4 other players can really make a difference in a round depending on how you work together.
Woof. Yeah, okay, I finally died.
I got him. No, you haven't.
Cheers, me old mucker.
The attrition system means that you need to keep together because your supplies are lower. You only get like 1 bandage, you don't heal to full anymore. So it means medics and support classes are now more useful. When you're defending your position, your support can actually like build barricades. It feels amazing. There's a sensation I was telling you about before. There's when you're playing airborne and you're waiting for the enemy to come. As soon as you spawn, everyone's just running to the points, like building stuff up, throwing up sandbags, putting up gun turrets, and then there's a real like eerie moment of calm where you're seeing the paratrooper planes just coming forward, and then all of a sudden flat cannons just start opening up and shooting at them, and parachutes come out. You see all these enemies like just run through the tree line, mowing them down. It's a game that feels like a war movie. It has those like organic set pieces almost. It feels, if this was in any other game, it would be like someone scripted this, someone created this to give the feeling that I'm feeling at this moment. No matter what you do, no matter what class you're playing, you feel like I can be useful. I not only can I perform well individually, but I can be really useful as part of like the machine that makes up my team.
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of camaraderie, and opposed to Call of Duty where you're on a team, but I still feel like I'm just by myself, just running, trying to get kills, and I'm sure you can have teamwork, but it doesn't really work as well as Battlefield.
No, playing like Search and Destroy and Call of Duty, where that's of all the modes, that's one that you feel like you need teamwork. It's one life, you need to stick together, plant the bomb, but everyone just runs wherever they want. They're just like, I want to get a kill. Whereas Battlefield, it's not rewarding kills. You get rewarded for kills, but that's not the primary reward. You can outpoint a player by not killing people. I was playing last night, and the guy at the top of our scoreboard had like 4 kills and a bunch of deaths, and he was top. Because he was just like, he was fully, I'll be your hero baby, running at people, like chucking smoke grenades down, stabbing at everyone with adrenaline syringes. And honestly, that guy kept our back line secure. So it's that feeling that Battlefield gives you that's like, yes, you can make a difference, and you can be that hero baby.
So let's talk about modes, because that's another big difference with these two games. Call of Duty has multiplayer, it has zombies, and it has Blackout, which is the Battle Royale. And they've stripped away single player this year, which is a bit, for me, was weird, because I love the single player campaigns in Call of Duty.
Yep.
But what about Battlefield? How are they doing things this time?
Straight out of the box, you get the war stories, and then the multiplayer with its plethora of modes, and then at the start, at the core launch, the Tides of War will start, where it will drip feed you content. Going forward, you get the Firestorm and all that, but day one, you'll get all the multiplayer and the war stories.
Laisse-le partir, petit frère.
I know the lack of single player was a bit of a sticking point in Call of Duty. Like you said, Battlefield 5 has taken tones from Battlefield 1, where they're taking individual stories rather than one campaign, and this time it's stories that are kind of out of the public eye, really like intimate ones, character driven. I've only played the first two, Africa and Norway, but my favourite thing is that it's the story part, war story. I'm not going to lie and say the AI is amazing, or that you're going to get like incredible a single player experience. It's competent, it's entertaining, but go into it expecting a story. Go into it expecting to learn something and have a feeling of like, wow, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know that I didn't know about the SBS. I didn't know about this stuff happening in Norway. That was really what I was left with out of war stories. Then multiplayer, we don't have our version of Battle Royale Firestorm yet, but for me, the multiplayer modes, they've been like really diverse, considering that they're going to be similar, whichever way you look at it. It's one team fighting another, but the differences in the way it plays between Airborne and Breakthrough and Conquest, and even if you just want to play Team Deathmatch or Domination, then that's there too. For the most part, in multiplayer, it feels like Call of Duty has its core classic modes, and then the big new shiny look at this thing is Blackout. I'm excited to see Firestorm when that arrives
for Battlefield. So I do love Battle Royale games, and I was super excited to see it come to Call of Duty. One of my favourite things about it was that previous Battle Royale games, I'd felt a bit like, I'm not very good at this, I can't shoot people, I panic all the time. The great thing about Blackout is it's still a Call of Duty game, so you jump out and you land, and it controls like Call of Duty. So I felt like I was hitting the ground running rather than just flailing around shooting in the sky and not knowing what I was doing. It's not up there, as the best Battle Royale game out there, I don't think. But it scratches that itch.
We talked about the Battle Royale genre, well, most specifically Blackout versus Fortnite, right? We went into detail on that if you want to check out that video. But we said it's a very accessible Battle Royale.
Yeah.
But what I'm glad that Battlefield is launching their Battle Royale later, because it feels like people are going to get an opportunity to experience Battlefield at its core. People that are experiencing it now are going to to learn. They're going to be prepared, especially with the new way that Battlefield 5 plays, with the enforced squad mechanics, the attrition, the building. That's going to lend itself to Firestorm.
To me, Battlefield is more of a sophisticated dinner, where Call of Duty is like an all-you-can-eat buffet where you're rubbing elbows with people. But gotta mention zombies, because that's another...
Don't have that in Battlefield.
No zombies. I know people love zombies in Call of Duty. I've dabbled in it, and I dropped into this one, and there's a lot going on. There's like different classes and abilities and potions, and I was a bit out of my depth, if I'm honest, but there's a lot there for people who like a zombies mode, and I think there's a lot of replayability and a lot of character in that as well. It has its own sort of mini story going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the variety that COD is offering, but it feels like Battlefield has more to come, so that's also exciting.
Yeah, and one thing to bear in mind as well is if you're someone that can only play short bursts of games, or they want to experience the game in maybe short bursts, or they want that reward, Call of Duty is probably going to give you that, because the rounds in Call of Duty are a lot quicker. Average round is way under 10 minutes. Whereas I played a game Battlefield last night, and I think I aged like 3 or 4 years. It was like an hour and a half long.
When will the war end?
It was amazing. Christ, let's go to bed after that.
Well done, we have taken objective Caesar.
So we have 2 big shooters to choose from. Dave, which would you recommend and who for?
If you're someone that wants the like instant gratification, maybe I don't have that much time, or just want a more arcadey experience, and if you want to play a battle royale game like now, then Call of Duty is going to be for you. But if you want something that you want to invest a lot of time in, that you want to learn, that you want these longer games and these great experiences, and if you want squad play, like if you've already got 3 friends that have got Battlefield 5, get Battlefield 5. Because even if this game isn't for you, I guarantee playing with those 3 will sell it for you. You'll get to feel that squad play and that teamwork. If you want the larger scale, if you want the teamwork, the vehicles, the bigger maps, then I'd go for Battlefield. For me, it's been a much more rewarding experience, but over time. Whereas Call of Duty has been rewarding like instantly, like winning games, go, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot.
Call of Duty is the quick fix, and it's larger than life. I like it in small chunks. You've got grappling hooks, you've got crazy weapons. It's really out there. But I think thinking about it, actually, Battlefield might be the game I'd rather play long term and get more serious about.
No doubt plenty of you out there have already played at least one or the other, so feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, or you can find me on Twitter at IrregularDave or Bill at
The Quiff is dead.
Make sure you send me your Origin ID, because I need more people to squad up with, because my medic let me down last night. Anyway, see you in the next episode.